Okay, we'll continue with our discussions on uh, sugar manufacture. Okay, so in the morning we had seen about the process of manufacture. Uh, the presentation available? Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So in the morning we had seen about the process of defecation. That is how the the juice is clarified and it is removed of the uh, contaminant. Sort of. No, it is not actually contaminant. The other uh, materials, including uh, starch, the proteins, etc. Fine. So we'll continue with that discussion. Okay. So, okay. So we had seen about the cold liming. Okay. Then we have also seen about the, now we'll be seeing about, okay. So basically sulfiting treatment. So sulfiting treatment is, as I said, it gives the bleaching process and it is done along with liming. Why? I think I already told you, like during the liming, the pH goes to the alkaline region, and to make it come back to the neutral range or the range, then you add sulfites. Okay. So, but the other important aspect of sulfiting is that because of the treatment of sulfite, color gets removed, and you know the the color gets removed. That is the one thing, and the proteins and other things, the enzymes get denatured also in the due process. Plus, also because of the acidic pH, there is a precipitation of the proteinaceous material. Okay. Uh, the common procedure followed in India is a calcification process. It involves addition of lime plus phosphate and sulfur dioxide at two stages. Okay, that is at the juice stage. What is the juice stage? Uh, that is when the when you get the juice after the milling. Later, after the concentration, which comes later. So that is why here we have a very white color, and actually, you know, the foreigners actually does not allow much of this sulfitation and the process. So in the case of double sulfitation, what are the properties used? That liming before sulfitation. What do you mean by that? This is what I told. That is, you uh, go to the alkaline range and then the acidic range. Settling is lower, the volume of mud is greater, requiring a capacity in central place. So, hot pre-liming decreases the advantage disadvantage. What happens basically, as I already told you, during the process of liming, literally both the carbohydrate polymers and the proteins get solubilized. Okay. So, and I think I already told you, like, when it is changed to the acidic pH, everything gets precipitated. But why the settling is lower? Normally, the complex, then you get a different type of a complex, right? It becomes very jelly sort of. So then the uh, settling is lower, volume of mud is greater. What do you mean by volume of mud? Whatever that settles. Why it is great? It serves to occlude some of the sugars that is present in the juice. Okay. So this is the thing. So the better thing is pre-liming, hot pre-liming. That is, you add lime, okay, under hot conditions. which this side. Then sulfitation before liming, this is a better thing. That is, I decrease the pH first, then add alkali to increase it. So good calculation of impurities requires that before the addition of lime, sulfitation should be made. Why? So what is being done at a basically there are two processes. You have maintain a pH of 3.8 and 4 and a temperature of 30 to 40 degrees centigrade at a high acidity. Okay. So this ensures that the proteins get precipitated out. Okay. Or at an acidity between, that is, if I don't want so much of a, how do I get this pH 5.1 or pH 3.8? Can somebody explain? Hello? 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 Yes.
Due to addition of
Irma? Hello? Can somebody answer quickly? Hello? Just give a wild guess, right? How do I decrease the pH?
So maybe because we're adding acids or citric
That is
acid.
fine. But then with the same acid, they have mentioned that you can make a pH of 3.8 and a pH of 5.1. How is that possible?
So strong acid and mild acid would be.
Yeah, can you repeat?
So strong acid and weak acid will
No,
be
it's
there.
not. No, the same sulfite only, in either case. Same sulfide or sulfur dioxide is used. So how do I get a low or a high pH?
Temperature, sir.
Not about temperature, no? What can be the likely this thing? See, simple. Like as you increase the amount of uh, sulfur dioxide added, the pH will decrease. So if I'm going, for example, if I say, if I'm going to add 1 ml of HCl, I'll get a particular pH. If I the same thing, if I'm going to add 2 ml, automatically pH will decrease. So that is what is basically good. So low acidity in sense for say 1 volume of sulfur dioxide. If it is high acidity, it's maybe twice the volume of sulfur dioxide. So that is what it is basically. Okay. So basically what you are supposed to do, what you are basically doing in this clarification process, you are trying to remove the proteins, others, etc. At the same time, what is also happening is that a part of the sugar is also getting uh, occluded. Apart from that, when I'm going to maintain a higher temperature in the case of liming, what basically happens in the case of sugars, at a higher temperature, we have what is called as the caramelization reaction. That is, the sugar starts degrading. One thing. So it starts breaking down. It got your a brown product, which is a polymer of sugar, but which is not sucrose. Okay. So this is not desirable when you are going to have a higher pH and for a longer period of time under alkaline conditions. So to prevent this only, it's better that I go down and then I adjust the pH, because normally what I told, remember, like in the case of liming, I go to a pH above 8, okay, by adding calcium hydroxide, and then decrease the pH by addition of sulfide to whatever 6 or something. However, as I already said, because of the higher pH, there is a degradation of the sucrose. Okay. The details again we'll see later in the maybe next year or food chemistry, etc. Okay. So basically, whatever you observe when you heat sugar, it's what happens. To avoid that only, it's better to decrease the pH and then suitably adjust the later go for liming, because by adding lime, you are not increasing the pH to above 8. You are maintaining it or you are reaching only 6. Is it clear? Hello?
Yes.
That is, when I'm going to do alkali and then acid, what I'm basically doing is that I'm increasing the pH to 8 and coming back to 6. Okay. So on increasing the pH to 8, degradation of sucrose happens. Okay. Whereas when I'm going to add the acid first and then alkali, what I'm doing, I'm bringing down the pH to 4 and then coming back to pH of 6 by the addition of calcium hydroxide. So this ensures that I don't go for a very higher pH which can support or which supports the degradation. Okay, so that is the thing. Okay, so what are the advantages in terms of sulfitation? Juice settles more rapidly because of this thing. First sulfitation followed by alkali. This thing. Massiquids are less viscous and boil faster. Okay, massicate is whatever you get after the removal of your proteins and other things. So first you have the cane juice or whatever, then after removal of all the suspended particles, you have what is called as a massicate. It is a concentrated mass. Better crystallization, improvement in the color. Why improvement in the color? They are not supposed to support, they are not subject to higher temperature. Thereby then I get a proper color, not brown color. Savings in the clarification and then improval in the capacity. Okay. What are the disadvantages? Heavier deposits in heaters, a higher ash content, and a greater expense for the pumping, etc. Okay. This is followed by the process of concentration, for which we'll see a video. Okay. Just one. So this is your conveyor. What you draw is a conveyor, and whatever you see, the big ones are the you call as a tandem. This is the precipitate that you will get, right? When I am going to treat it with lime and sulfur dioxide, this is followed by the process of filtration. Filtration requires a filter press only. The heating process. Okay. The evaporation, and you get your crystallization. Okay. This is your syrup, which contains the mixture of all the things, right? So they check for this by putting out whatever the concentration. Yeah. So this is what we call perfectization, or the method of further removal of the color and others. We can just see one more thing. Okay. Uh,
If you will not speak up for yourself in the job, then who else will? This
Axing, relaxing, waxing, and well.
Okay.